Morning, everybody. Wow, I'm not used to being in lights. So for folks that don't know, I'm Emily Shea. I'm the Elderly Commissioner for the City of Boston, serving under Mayor Walsh. Thank you. And I am so excited to be here today and to be part of this partnership between Comcast and the City of Boston. So how many people in this room have the internet? The internet. And what do you use it for? Do you use it to talk to your grandchildren? And to look for things online? Who does shop? You do shopping online? So we all know how important that connection is, right? It's important. It keeps us connected to people and to things. It makes some things easier, like shopping. And so that's why we think that this is so important here in the city of Boston. So Comcast has partnered with us to make sure that they can offer an internet program that at a lower cost so that seniors who are low income can access that. So it's my job today, and I love, this is the best part of my job. It's my job today to introduce our mayor. And Mayor Walsh has really made this and other benefits for seniors a priority in his administration. He's been an advocate to keep seniors connected, whether that's through the internet or events or to programs and services. And he's been instrumental in helping to make Boston an age-friendly place to live. Please join me in a warm welcome for Mayor Walsh.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily. And I want to thank Emily and the Elderly Commission for the great work. I say this every time. You guys know the great work that Emily does in the Elderly Commission in the city of Boston. They do incredible stuff. And again, here today, thank you, Emily, for that. I want to thank Billy Lenahan is here. I think Billy was, I didn't see him yet, but I know right there in front of me. City Council, your City Council, Billy Lenahan. I want to thank Billy for his great work too here, not just in South Boston, but in the whole city of Boston. I want to thank Kathy Lafferty and the staff here at the Neighborhood House. Thank you, Kathy, for letting us be here today. I want to thank Carol Sullivan as well from the Neighborhood House. Daniel Noyes from the Tech Goes Home, thank you. And Theodora Hanna from Tech Goes Home, thank you as well. I just want to, about 3 years ago, when I first got elected mayor of the city, and prior to that I was a state representative in Dorchester, when I would go to senior buildings, and Billy hears this all the time, people talk about what can we do to help seniors in rates, and how do we lower rates, and what can we do. So about 3 years ago, I reached out to the utilities, the gas and the phone company, and I reached out to, I don't think it's not the phone company anymore. I reached out to the gas and electric company, and I reached out to Comcast. And I said to them, we want to do something for our seniors and for some of the low-income families in the city because everyone's on a fixed income, and our seniors are on fixed incomes. And at the time, we got zero response from the utilities. They basically said to us that, and we're not stopping, that's why I'm saying it today, we have to go to the federal government to get regulations. But Comcast came back with a different answer. Comcast came back with an answer saying, oh, wait a second, we're going to do something. We know we do something very modest right now, and we want to see if we can do something more. So I want to thank David Cohen, who's here with us today, and all of the Comcast folks that are here today, because they really did. They really did help us here, and I'm going to get into it. Our seniors, I want to thank you for being here. You helped build this city. I say it all the time. You helped teach us in this city. The great city that I have the good fortune of being the mayor is because of a lot of the work that a lot of you did. Some of you were born here and lived here. Some of you came to this country, immigrated to this country, and you raised a family here, and I want to thank you for that. But we also want to make sure that during history, one of our biggest challenges that you've witnessed in recent years is the rise of the internet. And when Emily mentioned how many people were on the internet, so many of your hands went up. And I didn't really think about it until about 5 or 6 years ago when I was talking to my mother, and she was telling me that my uncle and aunt listened to the Irish radio on the computer. And I thought to myself, really? They're on the computer? And she was, yeah. And I thought to myself, wow, this world really is changing, and the internet just isn't for young tech startups. It's for everyone. And so it's important that the internet, as we use it to connect to each other, it also helps us learn. It becomes a lifeline, and it allows you the opportunity, whether it's to shop online or talk to your family online, or talk to your family if you're in different places. I use the internet to talk to my cousins in Ireland a lot. We send emails back and forth, and we send pictures back and forth. So the internet is important, but it's also important to have the internet that's affordable. And many of you, the seniors that are here and people that in our city, we need to make sure that we not just have the ability to connect to the internet, but you also have the ability to be able to pay to connect to the internet. So we're working, so that's what we're kind of doing here today. Last year, the city of Boston sat down with Comcast and we worked out a program called Internet Essential program in our city. It makes internet more affordable and more accessible for low-income Bostonians and certainly our seniors in our city. So far, 3,700 families in Boston have gotten online with the help of Internet Essentials, and it really is an opportunity for us to use it, and many of you in this room are using that ability. It's something that's absolutely incredible. We know for many of our seniors, cost is not the only barrier to Internet. It's also about language. And I know that we have some of what I'm talking about today is being translated here. So it's important for us to understand that the Internet, there's no barrier. It eliminates any barriers that people might have. It's an opportunity for us to understand and learn about whether it's what you're doing or shopping or whatever it might be because of that special ability through the Internet. Internet Essentials helps the seniors develop the skills they need the most for this resource. So I know that it's a great opportunity, a learning opportunity as well. Many of you here know Carol Sullivan. She went to her first dance here at Neighborhood House when she was 12 years old. She's now the director of our senior program. She got trained through this program and also through our local partner, Tech Goes Home. And soon she's going to be able to start teaching other seniors right here on how to use the internet. As a matter of fact, you don't have to be a senior. When people talk about that, I'm still being taught how to use the internet. Oftentimes I'll go to Laurie's 10-year-old nephew who'll show me how to navigate the system. But it's important. It's what we need. But Carol certainly is somebody who's going to improve everyone's quality of life through the internet so you can stay in touch with your family, access medical and financial information, and also as she said, to stay hip. So a lot of you are going to stay hip. And I have one favor, though. We got to get Billy Lenahan in the class, if that's okay, the city council. It's just, I know. He's a senior, so we need to do that. But truly, today's an incredible day. It really is an exciting day for me. I know that we've had this conversation going for a long time, and it's an exciting day for me because we have so many people in the city that aren't connected today. And really, and many of you know, those of you that truly are on the internet, once you started using it, it opened up a whole new world. It just changed the way that you look at things and it allowed you the opportunity to kind of really open up. Those of you that aren't on the internet, on computers, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go in there and explore because it's incredible the information that is literally at your fingertips. Things that you can do. You can go back and look at pictures from the old days. You can go back and research stories from the old days. You can go back and do a lot of investigation, and it's really an incredible opportunity. So, again, I just want to thank Comcast for their commitment in our city to our seniors. I want to thank Tech Goes Home for their commitment as well. And most importantly, I want to thank you, the seniors, who pushed me and pushed Emily and pushed Billy Lenahan and pushed us all where we would make that phone call to this company. And this company is just saying whatever we can do. So again, thank you, Comcast. Thank you, seniors. And thank you, Councilor.
Hello. So now it is my pleasure to introduce one of the driving forces at Comcast, someone who makes programs like this accessible to everybody. So please join me in a very warm welcome for the Comcast Vice President, David Cohen.
Thanks very much, Emily. Small stage up here, but you notice the way we're just playing musical chairs as we go along. It works perfectly well. We're just not making Betty play the game, which I think is polite. So it's really great to be back in Boston. and particularly for this event. And I was going to recognize a lot of people, but most of them have been recognized. But I do want to thank the mayor for his passion around this issue and for his leadership of this city. Boston is a very important city for us, and we like to roll out lots of products and services here. And having a mayor, he can tease how he needs digital literacy training, but having a mayor who's committed to digital innovation and to a technologically advanced city makes it really easy for us to make more investments in this city. So thank you very much for your leadership and for your partnership. I'm going to introduce the one other person I want to, but I was going to tell the mayor that just this past April, I was up in Boston, actually in your old neighborhood in Dorchester, for Comcast Cares Day. And Tracy Pitcher, Tracy Wave, who runs this whole market for us, and I got to do a service project at the Y in Dorchester. I've done 50 of these projects over the course of my career at Comcast. This was the single best Comcast Cares Day project because we built a mini golf course at this YMCA, which I understand is the only mini golf course in the city limits of Boston. You can imagine these kids, the kids, there were like 50 kids behind a fence as we were doing the ceremony, cutting the ribbon to open this up, and the look on their faces of this incredible, mini golf course with obstacles in the big backyard of that Y. It was just a sight to behold, and it's another sign of the commitment of this company to our communities. So, Internet Essentials, broadband adoption, the internet. I was mentioning to someone before when our marketing people came up with the name Internet Essentials 5.5 years ago. They knew what they were talking about because the internet is essential. For those of you who have it, you probably can't imagine giving it up at this point with everything that you do on the internet. So we started this program 5.5 years ago. It is the nation's largest, most comprehensive, and most successful broadband adoption program for low-income Americans. Low-cost service, access to purchase a computer for under $150, and most importantly, this wraparound package of digital literacy, digital relevance, training, things to help you get over any fear of the internet that you might have, and to help to demonstrate how important the internet is, how relevant the internet is to all of your lives. So in 5 years, nationwide, we've connected 750,000 families, more than 3 million low-income individuals to the internet, which is a pretty amazing accomplishment for a single company's programs. In Massachusetts, we've connected about 80,000 low-income residents of Massachusetts to the internet thanks to this program. So even though that's great, we never give up. We always want to continue to push the envelope. This program was designed for families with school-age children. So over the past couple of years, we've been looking at ways to expand eligibility to make this program available to more populations. So earlier this summer, we announced an expansion of Internet Essentials to all residents of public housing and all people receiving HUD housing assistance, so living in a Section 8 home by way of example, regardless of whether those families had kids in school, including the many seniors who take advantage of HUD housing assistance. And in fact, in Massachusetts, Mayor, 47,000 families receive HUD housing assistance. And with that one announcement with the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, we expanded eligibility for Internet Essentials to another 47,000 families in the city of Boston. The second expansion, and you've all been very patient for me to get to the one that relates to all of you, is that we have started a series of pilot programs in the country to extend eligibility for Internet Essentials to low-income seniors. And Boston is one of only 5 cities in the country where we are operating that pilot program. And the design is very simple, which is that like families with school-age children, seniors have particular needs and can particularly benefit from access to the internet. The conventional wisdom around senior care these days is how do we keep seniors connected with their communities? How do we keep them connected to each other? How do we keep them connected to their families? And how do we maintain that connection And the internet is an amazing tool to be able to ensure that connectivity. So you can all come to this fantastic center and be connected to each other. But when you're not here, or if there's a foot of snow on the ground, which may happen every once in a while in Boston, and it's hard to get here, and you want to just communicate with your kids and your grandchildren, there's nothing like an internet connection to be able to do that. What we've also learned from the research, though, is that there are particular digital literacy and fear of the internet issues in this senior population. So Pew found in a survey last year that only 18% of seniors would feel comfortable learning to use a new digital device on their own, and 77% said they'd need someone to help them. And that's what the digital literacy and digital relevance training and supportive umbrella around Internet Essentials is designed to accomplish. We do that through nonprofit partners. We don't do it ourselves, and that's one of the reasons why we're in this particular facility. So enough from me for a second. I think one of the best ways to tell the story about how this program works is to take a look at a short video we've put together involving a real senior. His English isn't so good, so we use a narrator instead, but let's roll the video to get a sense of how one senior is enjoying access to the internet.
I was born in South Ukraine. My mother and father has to work. All day I was alone. All day I will sit inside and illustrate story I heard on the radio. This is when I realized I was an artist. There is a lot I still want to accomplish, so I like to save my time. I learned about Internet Essentials at Torrey Street Senior Center. It's very helpful. I save time looking for information online. The internet is very important for communication. I can't connect with my friend and my student. We talk about art, and I share my essay with them. It's very good for me. My sons are always asking me, "What are you working on? Are you painting? Show me." I like to post pictures of my painting and of my life online, so my sons can see them, so they can show people what their father does. I don't need much anymore, but I would like to live a high-quality life. This is very important to me now. My youngest son is an opera singer. He sings all over the world. I don't get to see him perform very often. Now I can watch his concert and performance online, and I have the best seat in the house.
So that's the connectivity, that's the quality of life that we're trying to provide to all of you and to all of your friends through this program. So to jumpstart our efforts here in Boston, my mother always trained me, you don't go visiting someone without bringing a housewarming gift. So one of the things we're here to announce today is to jumpstart this program in Boston. We're going to provide Tech Goes Home with a $100,000 grant for digital literacy training for seniors in the city of Boston. So that's our city commitment, but we're making you sit through this program, and you've been very patient listening to the mayor and to me, and so we want to do something for all of you as well. And so before we leave here today, the mayor and I are going to have the opportunity to give each senior who is present here today a free computer, compliments of Comcast. Because we want to make sure you all have all the tools you need to be connected to each other, connected to your families. So Emily will, at the end of the program, Emily will give the mayor and I instructions and you instructions about how we're going to get these computers, which are on these tables next to me, into your hands for you to take home today. So thank you very much. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for everything you've done. As the mayor has said, I have to speak all around the country. You've helped to build Boston. You've helped to build our country. And it is time for us, the people who have benefited, who stand on the shoulders of what you have accomplished through your lives, to make sure that the rest of your lives are high quality and that you have the same opportunities to be connected to your families that all the rest of us have as well. So thank you very much.
So before I introduce our last speaker for today, I wanted to recognize a couple other people in the room. So we have two of the mayor's cabinet members here today. So Chief Jerome Smith, who's the Chief of Civic Engagement in the back there. And Chief Yasha Franklin Hodge, who's our Chief Information Officer. Very good. So, I think that we've heard a lot about the Internet Essentials program, but what we haven't done is heard from somebody who's actually using the program, and so that's what we're going to do now. So I'm happy to introduce to you Betty Cassina. She is a graduate of one of the Tech Goes Home classes, and she's here to speak to you today about how she's using her new access to technology to stay connected to her family in Mexico. So please join me in a warm welcome for Betty.
Hi, good morning. My name is Betty. I'm Mexican. I come from Ensenada, Baja California, next San Diego. So, I want to thank God the opportunity to be here today and talk about my experience. Recently I went to a technology goes to home computer training at the Alianza Hispana, and I decided to learn about the internet so that I could be more independent. I now use my computer to do things that I couldn't do from my home before. I use the internet to talk to my family by Skype, send and receive emails, and check the news and weather. One of my sons lives in Mexico. My son is Hector Carrillo, and I don't get to see him very often. Being able to talk about him by Skype brings us together. Having internet at home and knowing how to use it helps me live more independent life, and for that I am thankful. Thank you to staff from Comcast by the opportunity to know you and you know me. Thank you.
And Betty, I think that's a great example of the program, to be able to talk to your son who's still in Mexico and to use it to look at news and really stay connected. So thank you so much. So now it's the big laptop giveaway. All right, so I'm not sure how many instructions you need, but all right, let's just give them out. So I think if we have everybody has a bag.
saying, Bill, you know.
There you are. We said all seniors in the room are getting one. Billy's getting one.
This is my first senior advantage. Thank you, Comcast.